The Oakland Raiders take their 2-1 record to Chicago to take on the Bears at Soldier Field on Sunday. In last week's victory against Cleveland, Oakland posted a season-high 469 yards of total offense as part of a well-balanced attack. Latavius Murray posted his first 100-yard effort of the season, recording a career-high 139 yards on 26 carries and a score. Derek Carr had a QBR of 70 and found wide receiver Amari Cooper, the rookie, 8 times for 134 yards on the afternoon. Cooper's second 100 receiving yards game, there. Oakland favored by 3, and guys, they're breaking a 27-game stretch where they were underdogs. Second time they are road favorites since the 2005 season.
Wow.
Skip, can this team make it to the playoffs this season?
Stephen A. Smith, I must tell you, I'm going to disqualify myself here. So take all this with many grains of salt. I've always had a soft spot for the Raiders. I've always rooted for the Raiders. I knew Al Davis well.
That's headline news in and of itself. Skip Bayless in a soft spot.
Well, I got a soft spot for this team. And it's different than my soft spot for Dallas. That was like inbred, you know, like I grew up with it. I couldn't help it.
Got it.
But this one I developed because I got to know Al Davis. I know he had his faults. I know he fought this league, but he had greatness about him. And it does my heart good that this team is on the way up. It is going nothing but north. And I think this team is becoming already the second best team in that division and the biggest threat to Peyton's team in Denver. I'm not saying they're going to win the division, but I will go this far. And now I'm speaking strictly with my heart. I went through their schedule before the show. Best case, I can give this team 10 wins, 10-6. Now, that would be a story. That could be the story of the year in pro football, right?
It would be the story of the year.
Now, realistically, I could go 8-8. That would be a pretty good story. Now, that's not going to get you in playoff contention, probably, but 8-8 would be pretty good. Now, why do I think that? I'm also a Jack Del Rio fan because I covered him when he was a player. He is a really solid, good head football coach and a defensive coordinator. And I think he's doing wonders with this defense as well as being the head coach, giving this team some stability at the top that it has not had before. Derek Carr last year as a rookie was often awful. I'll be the first to tell you. I had some doubts last year when he finished in QBR 36th out of 42 ranked quarterbacks, 36th to 42nd. This year, he's up to 7th in QBR, with a QBR on a scale of 0 to 100 of 76. Now, that's pretty good, and it's showing progress. And I'm liking what my eye test is telling me about Derek Carr.
Got it.
He's looking like the best quarterback in that class. Johnny was in his class, Johnny Manziel. I'm waiting and seeing. I hope Johnny can land somewhere else and get a fresh start. We'll see how that plays out. Yes, we will. But in this case, Amari Cooper is a stud. We knew he was going to be a stud, and he is helping Derek Carr immensely, just the way we've seen Megatron help a Matt Stafford, and now we're seeing Julio help a Matt Ryan. But in this case, listen, that Latavius Murray's pretty good. Like, he's a legit NFL running back. So the combination of those two studs, a wideout and a running back, with a Michael Crabtree, I'm not the biggest fan, but he's a nice complementary receiver to Amari. And then that Seth Roberts kid, he keeps making big catches for them. And by the way, he was a teammate of Malcolm Butler's and was also undrafted out of West Alabama. So there's another crazy story. That defense, as you know, features Khalil Mack, who causes nothing but problems for offensive lines because they basically, you need 2 people to block him on every play. You know Justin Tuck. He's still got a lot of game left.
Yeah, I got a lot of respect.
Yeah, I do too. You know, and as a leader of this team, he's become their Terrell Suggs. And that Malcolm Smith, 2 years ago, the MVP of the Super Bowl, he leads his team in tackles. People forget he's even there, but he is there.
Right.
And they added Aldon Smith, who I'm not a big fan of his, but I'm sure he's going to give him a little pop. He can play. Nobody disagrees with that. So all of a sudden, with Curtis Lofton on that defense, you know, it's starting to look like a legit NFL defense. Is it a playoff defense? I'm not going to go quite that far, but if everything breaks right, I think Derek Carr has the quote-unquote arm talent with Amari to get this team to, best case, 10 wins. Your thoughts?
My thoughts are this. There's no way in hell that the Oakland Raiders are making the playoffs. Let's pump the brakes on that right now. this organization. I'm looking right into the camera as I'm talking to the city of Oakland, all the Raider fans, Raider Nation across this nation.
You might be lucky we're not there right now, right?
Oh, seriously.
It's okay. It's okay. You're not
You're
going.
repping their colors, too.
You're not going to the playoffs. You can scratch that. Dream on. The fact is that when you look at the Oakland Raiders, they are to be applauded. Over the first 3 years under the era of Reggie McKenzie, the GM, who I have chided on many occasions, because let's call it what it is. You got to do the job. I knew you weren't going to be great or whatever, but you didn't have to look as bad as you looked. You were 11-37 over the first 3 years at the helm. Outside of the 2010-2011 season, primarily with Hugh Jackson, you had 8 back-to-back 8-8 seasons. With the exception of that, the other 10 years, you have never won more than 5 games in a season from 2003 through last season, with the exception of those 2 8-8 seasons, and you got rid of Hugh Jackson when you came there, which to me was a mistake on the part of Reggie McKenzie. Having said all of that, I love the talent that they have. I like Derek Carr. I like him a lot. I'm looking at some of these numbers right here. 726 yards on the season, completing 63% of his passes. Only 1 interception thus far. I'm looking at Latavius Murray for 248 yards, 4.8 yards a carry.
Good.
The kid is impressive, but
He
I'm going
makes
to tell you,
catches out of the back.
He does.
but I'm going to tell you what also makes me feel good. He's got 11 receptions out of the backfield as well. But this is what makes me feel good about Oakland. Offensively, Skip Bayless, they've only surrendered 1 sack. 1. And when you look, and I pay attention to this, when you're not allowing sacks, and I see a running game that's averaging over 4 yards, to me, you are doing your job as an offensive line, not just run blocking, but pass blocking as well. And I think that is a very, very big deal, because to me, how could Amari Cooper be who he is? How could Michael Crabtree, who's doing a good job, looks better this year in Oakland than he's looked the last 2 in San Francisco, 18 receptions thus far, 184 yards. Amari Cooper is a rookie. Skip, knows how to route run, has great hands,
no doubt.
has an NFL body, very, very impressive, and relatively cool, mild-mannered, and incredibly humble, which I think helps in a black hole, okay?
Sure.
So I'm looking at all of that with Latavius Murray, and I'm thinking about that offensive line that is clearly doing its job, and I think they deserve a lot of credit. Here's my problem with Oakland. You rank 30th defensively overall and 28th against the pass. And I'm looking at a team that has a combined 5 sacks in 3 games. 5. That's it. I'm looking at a Khalil Mack, who does lead the team in sacks with 2, but he literally has 7 tackles. I'm looking at an Aldon Smith. I get it, and I know Malcolm Smith is leading the way, and I respect that. But if you're not sacking anybody, okay, because 5 sacks in 3 games ain't that much. If you're not sacking anybody, if you're not getting to the quarterback, and on top of that all, your Achilles heel is your pass defense. How you can get to the quarterback, how you can sit there and defend against the pass. Then I got issues with you, because this is the West that we're talking. I'm sorry, this is the AFC West, and this is the AFC overall that we're talking about. And last but not least, then we get to the schedule. Congratulations, y'all will go up to 3-1, because after all, you're playing the Chicago Bears. Hope Jay Cutler comes there, because that'll make it even better for you. Let me throw that out there. But outside of Chicago,
Jimmy Clausen?
You know what? Listen,
Come on.
let me tell you something right now. Jay Cutler.
Wait, would you rather play Jimmy Clausen or Jay Cutler?
It depends.
It does not depend.
I'm going to tell you what it depends on. I'm going to tell you what it depends on. As bad as Jimmy Clausen is, because of a talent perspective, we just don't listen. All he has to do is not turn the ball over. In the case of Jay Cutler, you have to pray, number 1, that he won't turn the ball over, but number 2, and more importantly, is he interested in playing this Sunday? When he's interested in playing,
here we go again.
But when he's not,
this
that's
is
what it is.
Gratuitous.
So, yes, it is.
It's completely gratuitous.
Yes, it is. But let me get to the schedule. After you go up 3-1, I mean, I'm just playing around, because Chicago's defense could do some things. But let's say you go 3-1. Then after that, you got Denver.
Well, wait, don't just gloss over it. Denver is coming to the black hole.
I know that.
You don't think that'll be a big game if they're 3-1?
I think it'll be a big game. I just think they'll lose. I'm just talking about Oakland.
I don't know. I'm not sure about that.
Well, you go ahead and pick Oakland in that game.
I might.
Be my guest.
I just
Be my
might.
guest. I dare you. I double dare you. But here's the deal. Then they got a road game at the Chargers. They got a home game at the Jets, which they could and should win. You got a road game against Pittsburgh. You got a home game against Minnesota, which you could and should win.
Yeah.
Then you got road games against Detroit and Tennessee.
I think you could win both of them.
I think you'll lose one.
All
you'll
right.
split, okay? You got Kansas City at home.
Maybe.
You got Denver on the road. You got Green Bay, San Diego, and Kansas City. I see the Oakland Raiders. I see the Oakland Raiders losing 4 of their last 5 games. So I think that it's the potential there for an 8-8 or a 9-7 season.
Okay, well that's.
But
I said 10.
That ain't gonna be enough to make the playoffs. That ain't gonna be enough to make the playoffs.
Okay,
that's why I said
all
you
right.
ain't making the playoffs.
Hey.
You'll have an improved season, but you ain't making the playoffs.
But if the Oakland Raiders go 9-7, that would be tremendous.
I really.
I mean,
hey, it's good. It's a beautiful thing, but they ain't going to the playoffs. You can cancel that dream.
Okay,
you know, playoffs.
So your
with
issue
Black
is
Hole.
mostly defense in the organization.
Well, not the organization anymore, because you see some of the pieces that they're putting together, and Reggie McKenzie deserves credit.
Okay.
I've insulted him enough. Let me give him compliments where compliments due. I'm a fair-minded person.
Okay.
The man has stepped up, and some of the talent he's added to this team. I mean, Derek Carr, Amari Cooper, Khalil Mack, those are, you got at least 2 box office dudes.
So
and
mostly
Derek
defense.
Carr is no scrub.
No.
So it's really about their defense against the pass.
okay.
And that's
so,
my problem.
So if they go 9-7 and we do wind up maybe back at Golden State for the NBA Finals, I think you would have to apologize to those folks.
No.
Yes, you would. After all the ridicule you heaped on this team.
I specifically said, first of all, let me tell you something right now. One of my dreams is to watch a game in the black hole with the folks in the black hole. I love that stuff. I think
Why don't you?
I think I'm just saying I got other priorities in this day and age in
We
my
can make
life.
that happen.
I have several dreams. I'm a dreamer. But the point is that I look at the Oakland Raiders. I love their fan base. I love the fan base in that city. I admire them. I think they've been shortchanged by their football team. I think they're going in the right direction now. They deserve credit. I'm just saying, don't expect to be playing in January. Your last regular season game is January 3rd. Look forward to that game in January, because it will be your last game of the season.
Well, that's nice. I mean, they're coming from nowhere near you.
That's
Ridicule
fine.
them
I'm not ridiculing them. I'm just saying you're not going to the playoffs.
Well,
Skip Bayless trying to give you hope. I'm not. This ain't Christmas.
Okay.
This is
Saying there's a
October.
chance.
This is the end of
But I'd
September.
say the odds
This
are
ain't
way in your
Christmas.
favor on
This
this.
ain't Christmas.
To say they're not
All right?
going to make the
I'm not
playoffs.
interested in giving out gifts. They ain't going to the playoffs. Let's
Can I
get
say
that out the
one
way.
thing, though? That first game they lost, we all seem to forget that Derek Carr went down in the second quarter.
did.
Okay, we did.
So it was a huge
Matt
lopsided
did.
loss, but
Matt
he wasn't
fair.
playing.
Matt
Yeah.
That is
And I
very
think a lot of
fair.
people forget that.
That is very fair. You ain't going to the playoffs.
All right.
All right? Let's not lie to
We're going to
lie
talk
to the
about
American public.
your quarterback situation now, okay? Ben Roethlisberger out, Michael Vick in. What do the guys expect from Vick while Roethlisberger is out? Ryan Clark knows a thing or two about the Steelers.
What does he
I think
want?
he spent 7 years with them.
And what is
He's
he
gonna
wearing
join us
today?
next. Where is he?
What's Ryan Clark wearing
know.
today?
Is GQ
That's what
gonna
I
call?
want to know.